Back now on Newsmax Prime as we continue highlighting the candidates from the People's Presidential Project, that fine initiative driven by the great folks at Concord TV in Concord, New Hampshire. Ohio Governor John Kasich made it official earlier this week, adding to the field a total of 16 candidates, 16 major candidates in the Republican race. Concord TV caught up with him and asked the question, what would make him the people's president?
Well, look, I grew up in a little town outside of Pittsburgh where my father carried mail on his back and my mother was in and out of the workforce depending on what was happening with us, with the kids. And one thing I learned in that neighborhood is they weren't always the one that got the promotions. They weren't the ones that always got the breaks. They were just people that scratched out a living and had big dreams and built a better life. So in my mind's eye are not only those people from McKees Rocks, but the folks that helped me get elected to be successful in politics who were just folks in the neighborhood. So in my mind's eye are the people who built this country, the foundations. They do the work in the factories and ones that go out and make so many sacrifices for the security of our country. You know, what's in my mind's eye is everybody getting a fair square. Everybody getting a fair chance. Nobody gets a special favor just because they know somebody or they happen to be rich or powerful. We're going to make sure that every American has a sense that the American dream is alive for you.
And thanks to Governor Kasich for those comments. Our next candidate also served as a governor for the state of Florida specifically, a guy with a very familiar last name. Here's Jeb Bush on why he would be the people's president.
I will be the people's president because I believe in the greatness of this country. I believe we're on the verge of the greatest time to be alive because of the American people, their ability to innovate, their ability to transform, their ability to grow and prosper. We now have a government that's limiting people's aspirations. I have a proven record as governor of the state of Florida to transform my state by tearing down the barriers so that people can rise up. And that's my passion. My passion is that high sustained economic growth will create the possibilities for more people to rise up and achieve earned success. And a safe and secure America will make it possible for people to live in peace and security, and their children and grandchildren will have more opportunities than what we had. That is my mission, and that's why I believe I will be a good president if should I win the nomination and win the presidency.
Thanks to Governor Bush for his time, and thanks again to Concord TV for those interviews, providing some great content here for us on Newsmax Prime. It's worth noting another former governor is seeking your vote for president. That's Mike Huckabee. I sat down with him recently for an exclusive one-on-one interview last weekend in Iowa, and in this excerpt, he talked about President Obama's reluctance to call out radical Islam as a threat, but our president's a lack of hesitation to question Christians.
But I do think that he has failed to identify the enemy. We have radical jihadism as the enemy of every person's life and freedom. This president will get up and lecture people over Christians 1,000 years ago in the Crusades at a national prayer breakfast, cannot bring himself to call out against radical Islam as a religious fanaticism that is dedicated to killing us all. And I don't understand. He seems very defensive of anything that would be construed as criticism toward Islam, but he's certainly not hesitant to be very critical of people who identify as Christian.
And again, you will see more of that exclusive interview with former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee all next week, right here on Newsmax Prime. 8 o'clock Eastern, and again, 8 o'clock Pacific, all next week, right here on Newsmax TV. Another important programming note, don't miss an upcoming Newsmax TV special, Donald Trump at the Border. It premieres tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. Again, that's only here on Newsmax TV. It is worth noting that I will be on the road this weekend, sitting down with yet another presidential candidate. We'll tell you all about that when we reconvene here Monday night. Until then, J.D. Hayworth